Hello, good afternoon to ladies and gentlemen joining us this afternoon. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy afternoon to join us in this capital markets wide sensitization session this afternoon. I see that we have quite a number of participants attending this gold session today, and we'd just like to get a bit of an idea of the demography of our attendees this afternoon. So if you can hear us loud and clear and all our broadcast details are working optimally, please just let us know in either the chat section or in the comments by letting us know your name, your organization, and what part of the world you're joining us from. We can see we have a wide variety of people, but we'd just like to hear from you, your name, your organization, and where you're joining us from anywhere in the world this afternoon. Good afternoon again. My name is Nkechi Obichidi. I will be your host and moderating this session this afternoon. The world's focus has looked at the gold sector for a very, very long time, far longer than the informal sector. And we've seen that over the years, gold has become a long-term financial and economic commodity, being valued as a safe haven asset and a store of value. And the capital markets, specifically with the introduction of the commodities exchanges by the Securities and Exchange Commission, like Lagos Commodities and Futures Exchange, who is hosting this session alongside some other great institutions that I'll be introducing as we go along. They have looked at the gold sector and they've seen it as an instrument or an asset that has been globally recognized and as an investment instrument. And we've seen that the Nigerian market would need to catch up very quickly if we'll need to be at par with what the global markets are doing in terms of gold. The LCFE a few years ago in 2022 listed the first physical gold asset on its exchange that was known as the Eco Gold Coin instrument, and they've been trading on the exchange from that time till now. And what that instrument had done for the exchange and for the capital markets and the Nigerian economy was to show what was possible. With today's session, we'll be taking a deeper look into the gold sector with another listing that will be coming to the floor of the exchange very soon. That has also received a no objection from the Securities and Exchange Commission. And we'll be looking a bit more into the instrument to see how the capital market can react, how the capital market can participate, how the capital market can invest. And with the new guidelines provided by the National Pension Commission, allowing the PFAs to invest in gold-backed assets that are approved by SEC, safekeeping receipts, and other exchange-traded gold back instruments, of which this particular transaction is one. So I see that we have a lot of feedback right now in the comments. I would just like to quickly acknowledge some of the ones that we've seen. I may miss some of them, but please pardon me because we have a lot. I'm seeing Chinasom from Parthian Securities, Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you for being here. I see Ambrose from AfriInvest. I see Favor Akerejola from Lagos, Nigeria. I see Ya from the Ghana Commodities Exchange, Ghana. Thank you for being here. I see Ogene, please pardon me, from the BOI Investment and Trust Company Limited. Thank you for being here. I'm seeing Khadijat from the GT Fund Managers. Thank you for being here. I'm seeing Yusufu from Kaduna, that's the NNIL Commercial Company. I'm seeing Resurrection and KPMG, United States. I'm seeing Ambrose from AfriInvest. Okay, that's Lagos, Nigeria. I'm seeing people from Investment One, from BF Asset Management, AfriInvest West Africa, from GTI Lagos. from Universal Chambers, Barrister Solicitors and Notary Public, Kano, Nigeria. I'm seeing Dr. Tete from Ghana Commodities Exchange, Ghana. I'm seeing Edem from Uyo. I'm seeing Yemisi from Lagos, Greenwich Registrars, and so on and so forth. We have quite a few people from all over the country. With time, we'll be able to recognize every single one of you. I'm seeing the NLPC PFA Lagos, Wendy from Ghana Commodities Exchange, Joy from Crane Securities. I'm seeing Victor from PAL Pensions, and so on and so forth. We recognize every single one of you present, and we thank you for taking out time from your schedule this afternoon. Like I stated earlier, this is a pre-listing, specifically pre-listing capital market sensitization session, which is to prepare the market, both investors, both capital market operators, institutional investors, individual investors, to prepare you ahead of the listing that will be coming up very, very soon. And this session is being hosted by the WCM Capital Limited, that is the listing dealing member firm, alongside their clients and the issuer of the contract, the Kian Smith Company, FZE, and also Lagos Commodities and Futures Exchange. So together, I'll be hosting the session, but together we are hoping that at the end of this session, you will have all the questions that you have answered, especially with regards to how you can participate in the listing. Who is this instrument for? How have the risk management protocols been taken care of? How is custody being taken care of? What is the room for the pension industry? Is there room for institutional investors? And so on and so forth. So just by way of housekeeping, most of the participants currently have your devices muted and your videos turned off, just to ensure that the session maintains a high level of decorum. So we expect that as the session goes on, if you have questions, you have comments, please use the Q&A. Our presenters are ready and able. They will be checking the both sections just so that they can answer some of your questions in the course of their own session or during the panel session. And towards the end of the session, we would also have a question and answer section where we would allow a few participants to unmute their devices and ask questions directly. But for questions, comments, we will primarily be using the chat and the Q&A section. So we'll be starting off this session very quickly by taking some opening remarks from the exchange directly. So we will be hearing from the MD, CEO of Lagos Commodities and Futures Exchange, who will just be doing a bit of a welcoming to all the participants here this afternoon. So I would like to yield the floor to the MD CEO, Lagos Commodities and Futures Exchange, Mr. Akishola Akeredolu Ale.
Thank you very much, Nkechi. Thank you very much for pronouncing my name very well in a long time. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. For the people that have joined today, thank you very much for joining us today. On behalf of the Board of Directors, the management of Lagos Commodities and Futures Exchange, I would like to welcome you to this pre-listing capital market sensitization session for the Kian Smith 1 kilogram London Bullion Market Gold Bar Spots contracts. When we see 1 kilogram, let's not assume that the listing is going to be about 1 kilogram. It will be discussed later. It's going to be in the multiples of 1 kilogram. And I'm very happy that Kian Smith is coming in to test the waters with the first 100 kilograms of gold. And subsequently, if it's taken up in the next 1 week, you have the capacity to bring in another 100 kilograms of gold to make it 200 kilograms of gold. Nigeria is a very big country. It's a very, very big economy. We have pension assets pushing 30 trillion. there. We have various capitalization for banks now that are going to 500 billion each. Various institutions will be looking for various investment outlets that can be a bridge and then beat inflation there. So today's session is about opportunity today, and for us to put clarity into what we're doing and to make people understand access. How do you access this particular asset class? As capital markets continue to evolve, investors are looking forward and looking beyond traditional asset classes. They're looking at instruments that offer diversification, resilience, and transparency. Globally, gold has played that role for centuries. What we're doing here today is bringing that trusted asset into a structured and regulated exchange environment in Nigeria, making it accessible, tradable, and investable with all the confidence that is required and the support and a robust risk management and framework to support these trades. Macroeconomically, globally, everybody knows that a lot of investments are fleeing toward gold now because of the position of the United States in some issues, Venezuela in some issues, and other global issues that are taking place in the ecosystem. Nigeria is no more a part, just a part of the global ecosystem. We're now a major part of the global ecosystem. So effectively, one of the things that we'll be looking at now is how do we participate as global people, understand the global systems, and embrace an assets that have been around for centuries. So for institutional investors today, this represents an opportunity to deepen portfolio diversification with a familiar capital market framework for newer and emerging investors. It opens the door to participating in gold in a way that is transparent, well-governed, and protected. Transparent, well-governed, 25. So there's a legal backing, there's a legal framework to support what we're going into. Like she had mentioned earlier, PENCOM has already put in place some regulations in place to allow people to embrace the gold as an asset for the PFAs also. Also for this listing and pre-listing, I'll just give you a little snippet. The listing price that Kian Smith is coming up with is almost like at a discounted rate of $1,100 per ounce. It might have reduced as of today, but at the day that we were having a conversation almost about that, it creates a lot of space for arbitrage. If we don't see the arbitrage, we should know that the international community will see the arbitrage. Like Nkechi had also mentioned, LSEC is a regulated institution by the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, and the regulator has given rules and approved the rules and also issued them a letter of no objection for this particular listing to take place. And I'm hoping that, like she mentioned, we have Pan-African exposure to this. That is, we have some other exchanges in West Africa that are here today listening to this structured arrangement, particularly Ghana, where we have a concentration on gold in Ghana also. So effectively, we're looking at intra-Africa trade and probably towards the $1 trillion market for Africa and what we're doing, and also looking at the $1 trillion economy for the renewed hope agenda that the presidency is pushing for. And at the same time, at the last CMC, the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission also looking at a market cap of 200 trillion. Very big thanks to our equities market and our colleagues in the capital market have been able to move that needle over the 100 trillion mark. Congratulations to them all over again. Now, this engagement today will allow us to walk you through how the instrument is structured, how it will be traded and settled on the exchange, and the safeguards that ensure investor protection. More importantly, it creates space for direct engagement today to ask questions, that is the brokers and everybody, to gain clarity and to understand how this instrument fits into our investment portfolios and objectives. One thing we must allow and realize is that it's a greenfield in Africa to have a structured gold market, and as such is a greenfield in Nigeria and our capital markets. So all questions are allowed. There is no stupid question, and there is no naive question. It is just clarity for people to know what we are going into. How does it work? For us to be able to we understand the equities market easily because we've been doing it over years. We understand the fixed income market over years. This is the major asset that we need to understand how it works, how it's going to be traded, how it's going to be structured safekeeping and all that. We have experts today that will be answering the question, particularly the stockbroking firm WCM that's here today to answer those questions. So we are pleased, and I'm pleased today to be working along with Kian Smith company, FZE. They have a very good structured background in gold trading there, and then I have WCM Capital, whereby we have professionals that have taken their time out to understand the gold space, the capital market trading, and they want to push this forward. And I know that with this new set of professionals focusing on this, it will be very, very easy now for us to onboard the pension fund, the PFAs, to be able to come and participate. And I'm sure that some of you, as you are living here today, when you're understanding more, you'll be sending proposals to the various PFAs to be able to, give them proposal for them to add gold to their portfolios and for them to trade gold. Also, on the other side, I also know that some PFAs will be here. They will start saying that they probably want to create a direct gold asset to be able to buy their other conversations for the future with the brokerage community and the regulator securities and the exchange commission there. So today, I encourage you today to engage actively, like I mentioned earlier, during the session, as we take this important step toward the official listing and the go live. We believe this is the beginning of an exciting new chapter of gold within Nigeria's capital markets. Also a new chapter for a new asset class that is long overdue in the last 60 years in Nigeria. Africa is a gold country, and we should be trading it in a large amount. I thank you very much today for being part of this conversation today, and look forward to a very engaging session today. And we have subject matter experts that will answer all the questions for us to be able to push forward on this particular conversation. Thank you very much. You're welcome to this conversation today. So I'll hand over to Nkechi. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So we have taken very good note of the charge that you've given this afternoon. So you mentioned the fact that we have all the experts available around the table this afternoon, and all questions are welcome. I'll also not brush past the fact that you gave a charge to the capital market community to start developing products backed by gold. So that's a charge to the asset management firms, fund managers, and the pension community as well, to see how they can participate in the gold sector. So now it's time to move to the main reason why we're here. I know that a lot of the stakeholders around the table have heard about the Kian Smith 1kg LBMA gold bar sports contracts that we are discussing this afternoon. And there are a lot of questions. What is this contract? Why is it a sports contract? What type of transaction is it? Who is it for? And so on and so forth. My next speaker who will be coming up would answer, if not all, but majority of all the questions. So I'd like to welcome very, very quickly to take us through the introductory session into this specific transaction. That's the 1kg LBMA gold sports. So I'd like to welcome Mr. Patrick Ajayi, who is the managing director of WCM Capital, also identified as the listing broker for this particular instrument. So Mr. Patrick Ajayi, the floor is yours, and we are very attentive. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Patrick. Are you with us, please?
Okay. Sorry about that. I was trying to unmute. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I will start on this note by also thanking all the parties to this issue. As you rightly said, this is a groundbreaking activity that we're starting with. Is a major diversification play for myriads of investors. I'm sure I won't be saying anything new if I speak to the versatility of gold as an asset and what it does as a store of value for a long time. But it's important to thank those who have supported and made this possible. Aside Kian Smith, that has brought this groundbreaking product to the market, we've had considerable amount of support from the Securities and Exchange Commission in overcoming several hurdles required to ensure that all the regulatory requirements to listen on the exchange has been facilitated smoothly without any challenge. Also, we've also had the support of the LCFE, Lagos Commodities and Futures Exchange, as well as all the other players who have helped put this together for the teaming investors. So I'll go quickly to the transaction itself. What is this transaction? It's the listing of 1 kilogram London Bullion Market Association certified gold bars. Will be traded as a spot contract on the Lagos Commodities and Futures Exchange. The product itself will be priced at a daily London Bullion Market Association price plus a premium of 3.5%. Usually there's an auction for gold on the LBMA, and we're going to take prices from there, and they are leading reference for price of gold on a daily basis. So price will be taken from there, and then there will be a premium of 3.5% on it. Of course, this is exclusive of brokerage and exchange fees, as well as all the other regulatory fees that you might need to pay. Aside this, it's important to note that each contract will be backed by physically vaulted LBMA certified gold. And we'll speak to this in a few minutes. Also, the initial program size is 100 kilogram. I heard the managing director of LCFP speak to that once this is taken up, the opportunity to issue additional gold bars in the market is there. The capacity for Kian Smith to provide this is there. So aside this, the major parties to this transactions are Kian Smith Company, FZE, who are the issuer and aggregator of the gold bars. WCM Capital will be the dealing member firm or broker that will be representing on the floor of the Lagos Commodities and Futures Exchange, Kian Smith, and helping to handle the sell side. So other dealing member firms who are registered with the LCFE can be counterparties to this trade, meaning they can buy on behalf of investors. Because of in managing the risk involved in transaction like this, you have as the depository of the safekeep receipts and the settlement company, CSCS, Central Securities and Clearing Systems, will be the depository and clearing and settlement company. So it works basically the same way your equities or fixed income instruments will work. There's a safe keep receipt that will be dematerialized that will represent the 100 kg bars that are being issued. So once you even buy and you don't want to deal with the physical, which is the underlying gold, you have the SKR, the safe keep receipt, as title, and that's what will be traded on the LCFE trading platform. We have a vault and collateral manager to hold the underlying gold. I think the MD also spoke to that earlier, in that though you can trade the SKR, the safe keep receipts, which of course amounts to the same thing as the gold on the market, you could also take hold of the physical gold if you want to have it. But I think we'll speak to that later. But it's important to note that Kian Smith is a company that is licensed free trade zone enterprise, meaning that if you want to move your gold into the custom area, that is outside, is seen as a free trade zone enterprise. So if you're moving it outside the custom area, for those who want to take hold of the physical gold assets, that has implications as well, meaning that you have to pay duties and what have you. FCMB will be our own settlement bank, but for all those who understand how clearing and settlement works, it means other banks can also participate, but our own settlement bank will be FCMB, who are also very much involved in this transaction. KPMG is the auditor, just to ensure that everything is done accordingly. We have Leadway Assurance as the insurer. The gold, of course, and the vaults are insured, and they'll be kept in a vault that is fully insured by Leadway Assurance. And the LBMA certified supplier, StoneX Group, is an international company that deals and also trade. They are custodians, they trade in gold, and they are an LBMA certified supplier of gold, and they are the ones who are going to bring in, who are supplying the 100 kg gold bars that we're speaking to this initial issuance. So the transaction dynamics will be the gold is sourced and procured from StoneX, the LBA member. And they will be stored in a grade 10 vault that will be managed by the collateral manager, Bankers Warehouse. They are not only CBN licensed because they will be operating within the capital market, they are also going to be supervised by the Securities and Exchange Commission as well. Trading, as I've said earlier, will take place on the floor of the Lagos Commodities and Futures Exchange. And it's going to be the same as for those who are traders, brokers. It's basically the same way you trade other instruments that you have probably traded before now. And the settlement, as you well know, that there was a change in the settlement days from November 28, I believe. It is now transaction day +2. So if you trade and buy today, it will settle into your account immediately, but the whole settlement process will take T+2. That's transaction day +2 additional working days. We've spoken to the pricing, as it were. We've also mentioned here for those that keep within the vault who are not taking hold of it, taking charge of the physical gold itself, you have up to free 30 days of storage with the vault manager. But if you want to keep longer than that, then you will have to be exposed to paying the storage cost. And of course, insurance will be required for you to keep such an asset. Next slide, please. What we've just done here is to describe the transaction dynamics and how it will work, which is what I've been speaking to. Can you help go to the next slide? Whilst they are fiddling with that, I'll just continue, which is what I've actually been describing all along, is how it all works, which is that StoneX will supply the gold, will generate a safekeep receipt, which will be dematerialized. It's already insured, and the gold is kept in a vault Once it's dematerialized, the SQL, then it goes electronically into the system, and we can now trade on LCFE platform. So we will participate as well as other dealing member firms on the LCFE who can make orders on behalf of their customers. Once you've bought and it's cleared and settled, payments are done, as you well know, just the same way you have it in the equities or fixed income market. Then you have access to your gold if you want to pick it. But I've also stressed the importance of the fact that Kian Smith is located in a free trade zone, which is more or less seen as outside of the customs area. So it will mean if you want to take hold of your gold bars, you will have to be more or less importing it into Nigeria, which is what I meant by the custom area. So you will have to pay duties and other incidental charges that you will need for you to import such an asset into Nigeria. And then, of course, you can decide as to what you want to do with it. But the opportunity to leave it and just deal with your SKR, your safekeep receipt, in the event that you probably want to trade after you have purchased also exists. So that's how it will work. The vault managers will keep. Let me also say one of the things that have been a worry to a lot of people will be the fact that the gold bars are certified comes from StoneX, and they'll be sealed and they will have numbers for them to be able to be traced. So the quality in terms of what you have is 99.5 or if not more. So you are assured of what you have, and it can't be tampered with because they have serial numbers and it's sealed in a way that you know that no one has touched it before now. So it's safe, and that's where what you're doing or what we're trying to do here is different from what happens just on the street between one buyer and a seller, where you don't have guarantees. So these are secured gold bars that have been assayed and found in terms of quality, and you'll see we have continued to use the wording there, London Bullion Market Association certified gold bars. So all the processes that are supposed to be followed for assets that go through the LBMA is what will also be followed in this instance. As to who could buy this, the target audience, we're talking about PFAs, HNIs, even exporters, precious metal traders, those who are seeking tier one globally recognized inflation hedged assets. Of course, any other person who wants to store a part or all of their assets in an asset that is a very, very versatile store of value. So we've spoken to the pricing formula, the free initial storage cost. Also, if you want to do ongoing storage, these are indicative costs that we have put to it, but we believe these are close to it. Please, next slide that shows it. Insurance, which is available to ensure the safety of your assets. I've also spoken to the settlement circle, which follows what exists in the capital market as of today. For those who want to pick up, spoken about, could take between 5 to 10 business days to be able to pick it up. So the other issue is the company itself and what it does, which I've also alluded to in my earlier introduction. Kian Smith being a free trade zone enterprise that's involved in physical aggregation of gold, finishing, packaging, vaulting, and export. They have backed by $100 million in share capital, and in all their activities, it has implemented the OECD responsible sourcing and anti-bribery standard. We have looked at the whole transaction dynamics as to how this will work, and to ensure safety and to ensure that investors can be rest assured that whatever is required in order to make sure that the asset they have is of the highest standard is maintained. And you can see, and that's why the association with the London Bullion Market Association is very critical here. And we have ensured that the standards are met to the highest level. I think I have covered the transaction dynamics as much as possible. It's possible that I might have missed out a thing or two, but I'm hopeful that by the time we start talking and listening to questions and or asking clarifications from participants, then if there's anything we haven't covered properly, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you very much. Nkechi, back to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Patrick. I know that was a lot of information, and our participants are trying to digest the information. So what we would do is, I know we had one or two hands pop up during your session, but I'll just ask that we take all the questions at once. That's right after the panel session, because I believe that some of the questions they may have would be answered, and any other questions that we have, we'll take them at the end of the panel session. I already see some questions popping up, but I'd like to ask our speakers if they can take note of some of the questions, so that as we take your own summations and your response to our panel questions, you'll be able to respond to them. But before we move to the next session, for those of us just joining us, this is the Pre-Listing Capital Market Sensitization virtual session focused on the listing of the Kian Smith 1kg London Bullion Market Association certified gold bars. So these are sports transactions. And if you're just joining us, please let us have your name. What organization do you represent, and what part of the world are you joining this session from? I know we had a few names that came in after I stopped acknowledging them, but we will still take a look at some of them. I've seen Afro-Invest from West Africa, Usman from Eco Explore in Abuja, David from Stenic Finance and Advisory. I'm assuming that's probably Lagos. I see Lloyd from Bankers Warehouse, and a few other names. Oluwaseun from First Pension Custodian. So we'll be taking this Evelyn from Ghana. We welcome every single one of you. Thank you again. So we'll be moving to the panel discussion, and this discussion will cover experts from different parties within this transaction. These stakeholders have worked together for almost a year now, Mr. Patrick, specifically for this particular transaction, and they've been working together with the exchange and Kian Smith to put this transaction together before it even got submitted to the Securities and Exchange Commission. So I'd like to bring them up one by one, but first I'd like to start by introducing the issuer and the representative of the issuing entity, and that is Kian Smith. So I'd like to welcome the founder and executive vice chairman at Kian Smith, who has a passion for reshaping Africa's gold economy by blending innovation, sustainability, and cultural heritage. She has led transformative initiatives in building Africa's first fully homegrown and ethically structured gold value chain. from pioneering Nigeria's first ever gold refinery to earning the membership with the Responsible Jewelry Council. And her mission has been to redefine Africa's role in the global gold market with integrity and innovation. And when we say innovation, this instrument is definitely one of them. So I'll just like to say quick hello to Neri Emiko, the founder and vice chairman of the Kian Smith, who is here with us today. Hello, Neri. Good afternoon. Can we see that you're with us?
Hello, Nkechi. Hello, everyone. I'm here. Not
Hello.
sure why I can't turn my camera back on, but I'm here.
Okay. We'll see if we can fix that on our end as well. And joining her on the panel this afternoon, we have from Bankers Warehouse Limited, an investment banker with economics, finance, and management and accounting background, who has developed excellent deal origination and coverage capabilities. So he has a wide experience in private equity, project finance, risk management and control, credit, structuring, and so on and so forth. So many wide range of expertise under his belt. And he is the managing director of Bankers Warehouse, who is joining us this afternoon. Please let's welcome Mr. Lloyd Esosa Onagino. Please pardon me if I did not pronounce your name properly. Good afternoon, Mr. Lloyd. Are you with us?
Good afternoon, Madam Nkechi. I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Lovely to see you. And also, we have heard from him today, but I would like to welcome him as well. The managing director at WCM Capital, who has a wide experience in the Nigerian capital market across various sectors in the financial sector. He's worked in EcoBank, he's worked with the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and he covers quite a wide range of financial expertise in advisory, product structuring, stockbroking, and so on and so forth. Let's welcome him back again, Mr. Patrick Adebayo Ajayi. I believe you're still here with us, sir.
Yes, Nkechi, thank you very much. I'm here.
Thank you. And finally, joining us on the panel is the MD CEO again of LCFE, who is a chartered stockbroker and has decades of experience in commodities trading, infrastructure finance, capital market operations, regulations, and so many other great financial experience under his belt. Let's welcome back Mr. Kishola Akeredolu Ali. Please welcome back, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Nkechi. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll just ask the participants, the speakers that can, so please turn on their videos so that it will have it for easy capturing for the live session. And I'll also ask our IT team to please confirm if that there are no issues with the approvals or permissions to turn on our videos. So I will be moderating this session this afternoon, and we'll be starting off by hearing from the issuer herself. One of the questions that we noted at the end of Mr. Patrick's session was, can we have the profile for Kian Smith? So I see that they're eager to know Kian Smith, to hear about Kian Smith. So I'll start with that question to Neri this afternoon. Tell us a bit more about Kian Smith. How long have you been participating in the gold sector? What level of experience, what licensing does your company have? Just tell us a bit more so that investors, stakeholders can learn a bit more about the Kian Smith company as it is.
Thank you, Kian Smith. About 13 years now, we have been in the gold value chain. I'll say first of all, the gold exploration, aggregation. We've done a lot of work with formalizing artisanal miners, initiatives for green mining. What else would I say we've done? Also mining, small scale mining extensively, trading, refining, tokenization, really everywhere in the gold value chain for at least 13 years. That's been our experience, and it's still expanding.
Thank you very much. I'll still stay with you again with the next question before I move on to another panelist. I know that here at the exchange, we've had conversations about the global market and its interest in gold as an investment. Why should the Nigerian capital market be looking at the gold sector? What's all the fuss about gold as an investment asset?
I mean, Nkechi, if you look at what gold did last year, I think for the first time in history, I think it's been agreed now that gold outperformed everyone. It outperformed US Treasury, it outperformed crypto. I don't even know, I should check the final number for the gains in gold last year. But even if you just look at gold's history as an investment class, as a security, however you want to look at gold, I think it's there is no developed economy that does not have gold on its exchange. And for the size of the Nigerian economy, the maturity of Nigeria's financial ecosystem, it only makes sense that gold is also an investment, an asset class that Nigeria should have. To go deeper, I think the other opportunity that I would see that has been holding us back has been the fact that LBMA gold could not be accessed in Naira. But now, through our business and our dealings in gold and our system, this is now an asset class that is available for the Nigerian market in Naira.
Thank you very much for that response. So we've taken note of that. The Nigerian market should pay close attention to gold sector because the global market is definitely doing that. Mr. Patrick Ajayi, I'll come to you for a bit. I know you have talked a bit more about the transaction instrument itself. Can you elaborate further on the contract? Why is it categorized as a sports contract? And can you maybe break it down in more lame terms? How trading will be done on the exchange? And I think that also doubles with my next question for you would be, are there any transaction fees? I know that you have answered these questions in your summation, but I think it would be good to hear you take your time and explain it further, considering that we might have a wide range of audience from all ages, all over the world, so that they are not left out from the conversation.
Thank you very much, Nkechi, once again. Why is it a spot contract? It's a deliverable contract because the underlying is available. It's something you can get immediately. T+2 is already yours. So the price is set immediately and you will have it delivered to you immediately within the transaction day and 2 days. At least that it belongs to you at that. But basically, the reason why it's a sports contract is because it's a deliverable contract, and the underlying is available for it to. Yes. Even though now, when you now have the asset itself, you can put it to several uses. You can hedge, you can do a lot of things, but it's not. It's what is available to you immediately. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yes, sir. And the second part of the question, talking about re-highlighting the trading, how trades will be done on the exchange, and if there will be any fees, just to re-highlight them again for our participants.
Okay, so yes, there will naturally be fees, but they are competitive, and as you operate within this market, most of these things are already regulated by both the exchange and the Securities and Exchange Commission itself, by the commission. So there are fees. There are usually the trading fees that you will have for the buyer side and the seller side. The exchange will have a fee that it charges. These are regulated fees that are quite clear and anyone can easily access. There is also the other side of the buying side, where you also have SEC fees and what have you. Generally, the fees that you will take in a capital market transactions are all there. The additional fees, which might also come up in this instance is the fact that you will also be taking possession, whether you're having it physically or you are holding an SK, a safe keep receipt. The underlying already belongs to you, and if you are keeping it within the ecosystem we have created, then of course there are still fees that will need to be paid. Like we said, there will be the storage fees, there will be insurance, and what have you as well.
Thank you very much. I'd also like to remind our participants that we have the Q&A box for you to start dropping your questions. I see some questions in the chat. We have taken note of them, and we will definitely address all of them today. So let's move on to the exchange's point of view. So we'll be moving to the MD CEO of the exchange, Mr. Keridolu Ali. How will the new listing change the landscape of the capital market? You have decades of experience participating in this market. How will this new listing change things up for the Nigerian capital market?
Thank you very much, Kechi, for that. What this listing really does is to open the markets. For a long time, investors have been limited to stocks, bonds, and a few alternatives. Bringing gold into the exchange changes that. It allows people to invest in a real globally trusted assets in a transparent and regulated way. It deepens diversification, strengthens confidence in commodities as an asset class, and shows that the capital market is maturing and evolving with itself, reinforcing commodities can sit comfortably alongside capital market instruments. The gold was just a taste of what was possible. It helped us to see the opportunities available to us. It helped us have identified risk management issues, custodial issues, and the global perspective on gold. This new transaction takes it to a new, different level entirely in the capital market. Now, we had about 10 years ago what the DG of said, what we call the Capital Market Master Plan. And in that Capital Market Master Plan, one of the major achievements was the commodities ecosystem being activated. And we all know, and like the DG had repeated, that the commodities ecosystem and the commodities market controls almost about 70% of our economy, if not almost 100%, if you include crude oil into it, controls 100%. And one of the things that we have been able to lose out on in the last 60 years is that we've never been able to identify these trades, be able to harvest the data for it to show the real market capitalization and potential of the Nigerian economy. What that also means is that we activate the gold space now. People start trading in it. We are going to be moving closer quickly, very, very quickly towards what the DG had said about the 200 trillion market capitalization. Because the 100 kilogram of gold that we're looking at that's going to be started with now, which is worth about 23.2 billion. That's something that people can take once or twice of the markets. And if we do that and replicate that in about 10 places in the next maybe like 3 to 6 months, we'll be pushing almost about 100 billion or more in that particular space. So effectively, even to the market, the overall market, you're talking about a market growing exponentially. The other parts, which is very key, is that then all of a sudden the PFS and co will have an opportunity to have a balanced portfolio. And in their own interest and the wisdom of PENCOM, they put it into place that instruments that have commodities backing, including gold, I think that the pension funds, the PFS can put their investments into now. I think it's an opportunity for them to put their position on instruments that can create a hedging instrument for them against inflation, against so many other things that are happening in the ecosystem. It's a game changer for the economy. It's a game changer for the capital market because effectively the level of liquidity, the level of foreign investment that are coming, the level of local investment that became very large. So, and at the same time, first instance, we'll be able to see other opportunities to which we can trade. And lastly, we also should know that if we're trading gold, it's almost like we're trading a fiat currency. Gold is as good as trading dollars. And then we're bringing that into the ecosystem for us to trade it. And like you mentioned earlier, Naira has been able to do something. Now we don't have to buy in dollars. We cannot buy in Naira. So it's going to be a big changer for our capital markets, for trades, for liquidity, for prosperity, for leverage, for as a hedging instrument, and for returns on investments. I think it's a very, very good one for the capital market. Thank you, Kechi.
Thank you very much, sir. This is a game changer for the Nigerian capital market. Mr. Lloyd, I'm coming to you, Bankers Warehouse. Your company is not a new name to the finance sector, but let's just assume that we have people who do not know what you do as an organization. Could you tell us a bit more about Bankers Warehouse? And then we'll move to how you're supporting this transaction or the role you are playing in this transaction.
Okay. Thank you very much, Nkechi. Good afternoon, everyone, once again. Bankers Warehouse is the leading private sector investor in the cash solutions and asset movement space. We've operated since 2007, though we were founded in 2002. We have the largest investment in that space and in that sector. And then we are regulated by the Central Bank of Nigeria. We have a sorting license and a cash in transit license. Effectively, what we do is that all the cash that is handled in the Nigerian economy, we basically are involved in their movement from one location to the other. We are also involved in their sorting into clean notes, dirty notes on behalf of the financial institutions and all other parties that play in that space. As a result of that, we've gained competence in being able to store assets. And so we provide services in the asset space. And so we have the largest depository of safe deposit boxes across the country. And we provide retail services in that space. So anybody that has any of the long-term assets, gold, etc., we have safe deposit boxes, over 3,700 odd boxes that you can take up. And you have a bespoke solution available to you. And it's a HNI type solution that we provide. And we also bring that to this. In this particular transaction, we basically act as a trusted arbiter amongst parties. So we are providing vaults and collateral management services, and we oversee the physical gold bars and ensure that they can move from one party to the other without any form of conflict in any way. So effectively, we are providing trust to this whole process and ensuring that anybody that is selling and buying, the gold bars move into their position. We provide that information to LCFE and to CSCS and ensure that at all points in time that the physical underlying corresponds with the digital transactions that have happened. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we see that you're not new in the game of custody arrangements. If we're talking, you've been in this for quite a while. So yes, we see that the commodities ecosystem is working with fully licensed, full professionals who have the experience. And what we're just doing is all the parties are coming together in an enabled environment to give investors that peace of mind to know that if we say that something is there, it is there because the participants behind it are fully licensed, are fully watched over, and they have decades of experience. So thank you for adding that to the conversation. I'll be coming back to the exchange once again before we move back to Kian Smith. So I just talked about creating the enabling environment. I think I stepped a bit on the conversation that you're supposed to provide, but tell us a bit more about how the exchange in itself has supported this listing. I know quite a bit because I'm an insider, but for the purpose of the market and for the purpose of our participants, can you tell us a bit more about how LCFE participated in creating the enabling environment to support the listing of gold contracts for investors to participate in?
Thank you very much, Nkechi, again. We're very, very intentional about this. And in reality, we are talking about an asset that we have been trying to groom over the last 5 years. It's over the last 5 years that we have started grooming these particular assets. And we did not just focus on them listing the products. We focused on making sure that the entire ecosystem, what that meant is that we had to engage with the regulator, align with the regulator, amend the rules of the exchange, align with the ISA, making sure that we had a regulatory and a legal framework for us to be able to do this, aligning with the trading rules that was approved there, putting together the clearing system and the settlement system, the custody side of it, and the banking structures in place, the settlement banks in place. Then we now have to do what we call the stress testing to see how the transaction will go. The idea was very simple. When this goes live, it will work smoothly, securely, and transparently for every category of investor. We had been engaging in PENCOM since 2022 on these particular assets in preparation for the full listing of gold contracts on LCFE. So you realize that we have been grooming this over the last 3 years to be able to tell the PENCOM, tell the commission, the regulator, the banks to be able to understand the ecosystem. And we have gone ahead also to look at the PFAs for them to start looking at how do they invest pension assets into gold-backed instruments that are listed on a recognized exchange. We also received so much support, when I say support, real support and push from the Securities and Exchange Commission throughout this process, because the Commission particularly has very big interest in growing the commodities space and the commodities exchanges. If you may recall, like I said earlier, that was the master plan. And I was going to the commodities space and established the commodities ecosystem. So the regulator, that's a second, so had made a lot of push in that particular stage for people to get to where we're going today. Now, but without going further, what were the challenges in the last 3 years? One of the major ones is what Kian Smith has solved today. We had loads of people that wanted to buy gold, and there was not enough gold to be traded on the exchange for people to buy. But for the first time now, in the last maybe 50 years in Nigeria, whatever volume of gold I want to buy is going to be available. And you can take delivery if you want the physical assets. For security reasons, we are not mentioning the location. So when they say free trade zone, that Kian Smith is in a zone, it's not as if it's in a zone in Bauchi state. I'm not trying to turn down any particular state, or is in Burkina Faso, or is in maybe Niger, or maybe Calabar, or Abuja, any other name. It's close to us here, in a free trade zone here, close to us here, and in a location that's very, very secure. And I thank them for choosing that particular location for security, because we are talking about assets that's going to belong to Nigerians, that's going to belong to the pension assets people and all that. Thank you very much, Neri, for that. So we've gone ahead in doing this, and we've been very, very clear. The other part of it I would like to speak about, Nkechi, is the issue of the robust risk management structure. We realize also that the risk management structure must be key to whatever we're doing. The deliverables must be there, the asset must be on the ground, must be insured, the insurance company must be reinsured for us to make sure that we have total cover for it. And insurance companies also that we're using, that have been used by them, are creating institutions that have big, large balance sheet to cover such transactions. That's the part that has to do with the robust framework. And the other one is the technology. We are using the best technology along with the depository. And then the depository that you see at the beach. In the last maybe 30 years that they've been there. So we don't, there's not going to be any glitch at all. It's the banking sector. Before, you would have said that their banks do not have the capacity to control and handle such transactions. We are now talking about the institution banks that now have over 500 billion each base as capital now. So effectively, Nigeria is ready for what Neri is bringing in. The capital market is ready for it. And of course, the investors are supposed to be ready also for this space, also for us to be able to move into this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And you've actually touched a bit more on one of the areas that I'd like the Kian Smith to, to highlight a bit more. One of the challenges that the exchange had with the initial gold listing was that people kept saying, is it real? Is it real? Was there really gold? Even with the presentation of the gold to well over 150 to 200 participants at the commissioning, and even weeks, months, years after, the question kept coming in. It was not, was it real gold and things like that. So I'm going to ask you a funny question, point blank. Is your gold real? Because Nigerians are very, very risk conscious. So yes, you were talking about gold. Is it a digital asset? Is it real? Is it tangible? Can it be felt? Is it the purity level you are telling us? Is it real? And how are we taking into consideration the comfort of investors to ensure that the gold that has been purchased is kept safe? I know the MD talked a bit more about it, but from your perspective, they could say, okay, finance people talk a lot, but let's hear from a real gold person. Is it real? And why should we believe that it's real?
Sorry, I was laughing. I think the first thing I would say that since this is the question, I would encourage people to research StoneX, StoneX Incorporated, because I think the last group, maybe sometimes when people don't disclose their source, we've been very transparent. Where are we getting our gold from? This LBMA gold that's being listed is being supplied by StoneX Incorporated. They are listed on the New York Stock Exchange. They are number 3 in the world for gold volumes. JP Morgan is number 1. Standard Bank is number 2. StoneX trades 5 tons of physical gold a day. All this information is very public. StoneX also have accounts with all LBMA refineries. They have their own bullion exchanges. So I think if anyone looks at this and they research StoneX, they would understand that a company like StoneX would not risk its reputation on something like this that has gone public. We have been in relationship with StoneX for over 5 years, and StoneX is our off-taker. And it is this off-take arrangement that we have with StoneX that enables this. To even go deeper, StoneX is also the off-taker of our refinery that we have not, should we say, publicly announced, but is presently now running as well. So I think that's one thing I would say. Sometimes if people may wonder if the source is not disclosed, but if StoneX has 5 tons of physical gold a day being traded, then what is 100 kilograms? The next thing I would say is also maybe also about the financing. These are things depending on what maybe an investor is concerned about, to make sure that is this properly financed, is the money. So I think in this case, the question should not be, is the gold real? The question should maybe be, is it possible that Kian Smith does not have the financing for this facility? But I think I will want to assure everyone that extensive due diligence has been done on all sides. StoneX, again, back to that reputation as a Fortune 10 company, will not risk its reputation on a company that they have not done extensive due diligence on. We have done, all our transactions have been financed, bank facilities. So we could also bring our banks as well to show performance if that's the concern. But I think that's what I would say in terms of, is the gold real? The gold is real. And again, to assure people, this is part of why we have the arrangement with Bankers Warehouse on the collateral managers and everything. Come and see, if you purchase the gold, come and see it. We even have a few clients now, not on the exchange, other things we do. They've come. Some people want to come, they see their gold. Some people come periodically, some people come randomly just to check. So we understand the concerns, but it's real. I think you asked another question about, what was the second question you asked, apart from is the gold real?
Yeah, storage secure, so still under risk management.
Risk management. Okay, so same thing. This is why, again, independent. So Kian Smith is not the one vaulting the gold. Bankers Warehouse is here to be the ones that they are the independent collateral vault manager. And again, this is why we've also employed the services of KPMG when needed, but they could do external audits as well to check and balance Bankers Warehouse and Kian Smith to make sure that no collusion is possible. Again, to add to insurance, the reason why an insurance company would give such a facility is because they have also checked the risk profile that there's not the possibility of collusion or any story as well. But all that said, we believe that all the risk mitigations have been put in place. And again, I think the fundamental anyone should look at is who is the supplier. The strength of StoneX has really been what has given so far most people just comfort in understanding who StoneX is. Thank you.
Thank you. So in other words, go and check them out. That's what she's saying. Go and check them out. So credible institutions, global reputations in the public. So it's not a hush-hush arrangement. All the company details, track records, financials, all available in the public domain. Thank you very much, Neri, for adding that bit of comfort to our participants. I think I'll start taking some of the questions that we have. So, Mr. Patrick, there's a question I believe that will be good for you to answer. So this question is from Iyamu, and I hope, my apologies. If an investor opts to take possession of the gold purchased, will it form part of the dematerialized gold traded on the exchange? So my assumption from this question is that they have purchased gold on the floor. They have requested for, let's say they are requested to take possession, i.e. to move it out of the current custody arrangement. Will it still be considered as part of the contracts that are still tradable on the floor of the exchange? And then there's a second question there from Balami, which would also go to you as well, Mr. Patrick. How will an investor resell after buying and taking both ownership and possession? So you can see these two questions kind of align. So I just yield the floor to you to answer that question.
Well, I remember that we did say that this is a very green area that we're going into. But the answer, to be clear, is no. Once you've taken hold of the gold and taken it out of a system, it does not form part of the dematerialized one. Again, I mean, and one of the common things that you could see, you realize that when I was speaking, I did speak to the fact that these are certified gold. In fact, it will be sealed. So to ensure that it's not being tampered with in any way, once you take it out of a system, it's difficult to ascertain the quality of what you're bringing back. And so it will be difficult, at least at this stage, to speak to whether you can bring it back again to now start talking about selling, because that's the possibility of what will happen.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So the question is simple. If you want to resell, ideally keep it in the system. If you're looking to bring it back, I'm sure both the Kian Smith, both the LCF, even everybody will put some interesting hoops for you to jump through. But I'm sure that we'll get a bit more information from that. So this particular question from Adebayo Real One is directed at the exchange. So just checking that the MD is still with us and his device is still active. And just to say again, we are still taking questions. We see some participants' hands are up. We will let you speak, but we just want to take some of these questions that have come in earlier. So MD, given that the Kian Smith 1 kg gold bar listing represents one of Nigeria's first high-value physical commodity listings, how does LCFE plan to balance price transparency, market integrity, and accessibility for both retail and institutional investors, while ensuring that the introduction of such a product does not inadvertently create systemic concentration risk in the domestic gold market? So, sir, that question is for you,
for the
sir.
question. Yeah, thank you very much. I'll take it from the last one, systemic risk. And I'll tell you straight that historically, the last time that there was any systemic risk for gold is over like I think about 300 years or thereabouts. And that was Master Musa. When Master Musa traveled to Mecca. When he traveled to Mecca, because he spent gold all the way to Mecca to the extent that the price of gold crashed. And by way of systemic risk, definition of gold. Gold has actually been more of a stabilizing security than a destabilizing security in any of the markets all over the world globally. And that's why the Europe, United States, everybody, when there's any issue, transactions flee towards gold and not the reverse. And in the last, since 1928, people had always felt that if there is a situation and transactions flee towards gold and people buy gold, that after it settles down, that they will now move back towards the other assets. They never do that. What people just do, they just build on their assets and leave gold as a backup fiat currency that can be worked on. On the issue of transparency by way of transaction is all about technology. It's purely about technology and access. If you open the market, you see what the price is at any point in time. You see the closing price at any point in time. You are going to see what we call a two-way quote. There's going to be a demand, there's going to be an offer, and there will be price a match, and people do their trades permanently. And on daily basis, at the end of the day, the total trades for the day will be retired, and the copy will be sent on weekly basis to the Securities and Exchange Commission for them to look at and for them to be able to see. On the issue of accessibility, the major thing about access is about who are the middlemen that will allow this to happen. We are all here. We have about 70 dealing member firms that are registered. That's commodity trading company brokers that are available for you. If you want to trade, and like WCM had mentioned, they will take care of the supply side of it to supply to the markets, and the market participant can actually handle the demand side of the markets. And like had been mentioned earlier, if there's going to be anything like a glut in the market, Kian Smith has said that if we finish up on the 100 kg, we'll put in another 100 kg. Now, when you talk about maybe there are not people buying the gold, that would be very, very exceptional. Because I don't think that there's been any, till date after Mansa Musa, that gold has been a problem for people to mop up, to buy. And that's why I said that gold is almost like a fiat currency. It's almost like dollars. So when you talk about the liquidity, is just like asking that, can it happen one day that people want to sell their FX and there'll be problems to buy? The only thing that can happen is maybe it might be in the hands of people that don't have access to people that want to buy it. But if you put it in the right people that know everybody wants to buy it, it will go out in that space. Now, go back a little bit on accessibility. Apart from the dealing member firms that are supposed to be the dealing member firms that will be trading it, there'll be also other platforms from the dealing member firms that will allow other people to onboard. We're also creating opportunities whereby some institutions will be able to establish their own commodities trading desk also for them to be able to participate on it. But the only thing is, if you want to establish a commodities trading desk, you will still require a qualified commodity broker to handle it for you. And probably you have to have a link also, a loop to the dealer that's going to trade it on the exchange. Now, on the steam part of it, that has to do with retail part of it. Kian Smith has also spoken about tokenization, whereby smaller investors will also be able to participate there. And I think she has a very, very good cloud of people that have already been, doing little transactions in part that is over about 3,000 people that are registered that can do the remote and the retail part of the space. So effectively, I think gold consolidates, gold prevents the market, and gold assists the market. Gold has never constituted a systemic risk to any ecosystem. Now, the other question I would like to answer directly, if I understand the person, is that, except you are asking that there could be a systemic risk if there's a failure on the transactions, I can give you 100% assurance that all the institutions that are engaging are institutions, like I mentioned, the depository, we've not had a glitch with CSS in the last, it's never happened before, a glitch at all. Our banking system is solid. The people that are going to be trading are highly regulated by SEC. And before gold becomes tradable on the exchange, like has been mentioned, the gold asset, the fiscal, will have been available first. The instrument will not be dematerialized by CSCS, and CSCS will confirm that that particular asset is available before they dematerialize. So effectively, the moment it enters into the system, it is given for whatever volume you buy, you take delivery for it. And the other part of it, which has been spoken about, is the free trade zone part of it. We are not even talking about maybe or maybe some very close, another zone, very close. So effectively, it's highly protected there. And I think and it's also strategic for both evacuation and for it to come into the country also. So I don't see any problem with transparency. Technology takes care of that fully. And then the rules approved by the SEC is there. And on a weekly basis, reports are being sent to SEC on the position of all transactions that have to do with such a transaction. Accessibility, we have institutions that can give you access to be able to trade in the dealing member firms there. And of course, some of them even have other portals that will make it easier for you to be able to trade through them into the trade market and the engine. On the issue of liquidity, if we decide not to buy gold in Nigeria, you can be rest assured that other West African countries will mop up everything. We have some countries in the Middle East that if they know that they can get this volume of gold in Nigeria and the expressed arbitrage of almost $1,100 per ounce is there, they will mop up. There are some countries that have made it a point of duty, even in Africa, that what they want to do is to turn gold to their reserve currency and keep it in their reserves. So on the issue of liquidity or glut, it can never happen. It's never happened before. It happened once in history, and I don't think it's going to repeat itself. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm hoping that your question was answered, Mr. Adebayo. We seem to be running out of time. So what we will do is we will batch some of the questions that we have so that each panelist will take their questions and answer them in lump sum. Then right after we'll take, I think I see one hand up, the verbal question. So I think, Neri, I'll start with you just to highlight the questions that are coming your way. There's a question here that says, is LBMA gold tradable in parts? Meaning that can you buy or invest in less than 1 kg? That's the first question. The second one there is, what is the carat of the gold bars? That's the second question. And I think this is from me now. The MD touched a bit more about your work in the retail space and some of the things that we are considering. Probably if you could also add to your question to speak about the retail work you're already doing and how we are considering it for the exchanges platform. So you just take a note of those questions while I move to Mr. Lloyd. There's a question here for you from Toyo Wolabi. The question is, in the presentation of Banker's Warehouse for custody/safekeeping, unless I am mistaken, you are proposing a flat fee of 700,000. Why not a proportion or a percentage of the price of a portfolio? I think, Mr. Lloyd, have you noted that, or would you like that question to be clarified further?
No, I have noted it.
Okay, noted. Okay. So I'll just highlight the remaining questions and then we'll take them in sequence. So Mr. Patrick, these questions are for you. From Iyamu, who is asking, will the price on the exchange be impacted by currency exchange fluctuations? That's question one. Then secondly, Yolanda is saying, good evening. I joined somewhat late and must have missed the price of the commodity and the minimum unit of purchase. Please, can you recap? I know this session is being recorded and it will be uploaded for all participants, but the person is asking, what's the minimum unit of purchase? Was a price highlighted? And when is an official release date? So I'm just doing a quick sweep to be sure. Okay, then this final question goes back to the MD. How will liquidity on the exchange be guaranteed to facilitate smooth trading of the assets? Will there be a market maker? Then the second question, I believe that this, I'll direct it back to Mr. Patrick. So that makes your questions, 3 questions, Mr. Patrick. This second half of his question says, secondly, being a sports contract, what will the all-in price be, considering that there will also be insurance costs? Will the insurance cost kick in if the buyer holds the assets over 30 days? So I'll just confirm that all panelists rather have received their questions, and we'll start ladies first. So Neri, the floor is yours. Then we'll go to Mr. Lloyd and then the MD and conclude with Mr. Patrick. So Neri, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you. The first question about LBMA, the bars trading in parts. So what we've done of the 1 kilo bar, we've agreed that we will be able to do fractions. So the minimum fraction you could do is 100 grams of a 1 kilo bar, allowing, I guess, a maximum of 10 entities to share a fraction of the 1 kilo bar. So this gives them that option. Of course, a limitation of this is that you can't take a possession of a fraction. So it's not a case where you have a fraction of this and you want Kian Smith now to give you a separate 100 gram to take possession of. Not possible. The gram bar will remain there in custody as it's being shared. But to answer that question, yes, that's the smallest size of a fraction. The quality of this is 4 nines, 99.99. LBMA gold bars, typically the lowest quality an LBMA bar will run is about 3 nines, 99.95. In this case, we're only doing the 4 9 bars. The next question was about retail tokens idea. So we have a product called SANU. And this is part of why we know that this will really work. SANU's product allows you by, let me use, I think, 500 naira. You can buy, 500 naira worth of gold is the smallest fraction that can be purchased. And of course, the same, until you have up to 1 gram physically, you don't have the option of collecting it. And I have to say, it's been very interesting to see how people have really utilized this. We've had, of course, the most popular product has been a 1 gram bar product and a 10 gram silver product. But I would say it's really doing well. We've had users across 36 states, mostly Kano, Lagos #1, Abuja, and then Kano. Sorry, Lagos #1 in terms of volume, Abuja #2 in terms of volume, Kano #3 in terms of volume, but Kano #1 in terms of users. So it's very interesting seeing the versatility of this, and we really know that this is something that will be innovative as well for LCFE, the retail market. I think the institutional market is a big market that the Nigerian commodity exchange and even stock exchange look at. But I think the retail market is one that's not being looked at, and this is one of the gains that other markets really benefit from, the retail one. So we know that SANU and that idea of tokenization will work. The product already exists on our side. So integrating it with LCFE will not be a big issue. We will release that with LCFE. I think after this, our initial listing has really settled in well, and periodically we'll see what comes of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lloyd, over to you.
Thank you very much. The pricing that was mentioned was actually the pricing with respect to vaulting services subsequent to taking possession. So that pricing is different from the pricing on the LCFE transactions. So what we do is that we have safe deposit boxes, and the pricing that was mentioned there is within a range of various safe deposit boxes that anybody who has possession of their assets can take on. And it's an exclusive service, and it's a very secure service. And you basically pay a subscription for 1 year. And so the safe deposit box is available to you. And whenever you want to have access to your asset, it's for us, it's on a notified basis. So we don't see the asset that is in the safe deposit box, but we make the safe deposit box accessible to you. You have your own personalized key. And so you go there, access whatever asset you want to access, do whatever you want to do. And that service is available for a year. So that is different from the pricing that would apply on the LCF transactions. Thank you.
Thank you. And MD, over to you, please.
Thank you very much. I think that on the liquidity and the market, one of the major things, someone was asking about whether we're going to have market makers. Yeah, we're going to have market makers because anywhere you go, where you're trading gold, there must be two-way quotes for gold for it to be traded. And what the market makers do is that if it goes to a particular price below, they mop up. If it goes back a little bit up, they sell to the market. But we don't call it a market maker. We call them clearing members. They are the ones that would do the role of a market making. So effectively, if they see the price of gold maybe go down by 10%, they will mop it up because they know that they can sell the same day to another person at the price, the real price, or maybe an appreciation of an additional 5%. That's one side of it. The other key major side of it is that the fund managers and the asset managers are going to have opportunities also to be able to invest in gold and slice it into smaller sizes on their own in their portfolios for people that have funds in their portfolio for them to be able to take advantage of that. So effectively, the liquidity is always going to be there. The fund managers are going to be there. The asset managers are going to be slicing it. The market makers are there to market make on a daily basis. There will be some people later that will start coming up with structures to do what we call margin trading, whereby they'll be able to buy the gold based on financing from certain finance institutions also there. And I want to make a comment about what Lloyd said earlier. It's very nice that there will be spaces that even if I don't take the gold away, I can put it in safekeeping with you at the location. And I know that I think it's an excellent thing to give reassurance for people that might think that, okay, do I have access? Can I keep it on my own? That adds to it. And effectively, that's in place. You will discover that demography that Nero mentioned about Kano, Abuja, and Lagos might skew towards so many other states whereby we have people that want to invest that just don't know about it. And some of them, they know that the safekeeping agreement has been mentioned. They want to put family assets into that space. Thank you very much, Nkechi.
Thank you. And the final set of questions to be handled by Mr. Patrick Ajayi. Please, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Nkechi. Someone was asking, can price be affected by FX? The truth is that it's an international commodity priced in dollars. So if we're going to be selling, what Kian Smith has just done is to make it accessible to us in Naira. But the reference price is still going to be dollars. So if there's a huge movement in the price of dollar against Naira, definitely it will impact the price. I mean, that's to be expected. Price and minimum order quantity. We've spoken about this several times today. It's 1 kg bar, but the offering to have smaller fractions is possible, but non-delivered. You can't have that delivered if you're buying fractions of 100 grams, which the MD of Kian Smith just spoke to. So that's for that. As for price, this is an ongoing thing. The daily auctions at the LBMA. So prices from one day to the other will depend on what is there, plus the premium that we've already spoken to cover for all the incidentals that Kian Smith will probably be doing. Official listing date, we hope to, that's why we're doing a sensitization. We're hopeful, a date has not been announced, but we are hopeful that this will be very, very soon, within the month, I hope. But we'll need to do a bit more house cleaning and take feedback to ensure that all that is necessary for this to go through seamlessly is done. Somebody asked, does insurance kick in after 30 days? I will imagine that you don't want to have that kind of access and not have it insured. So what they've offered is that for 30 days after you've bought, you still have a cover. Once it comes to you, if it's been delivered to you, even if you're taking it out, I will expect that you will insure it. Insurance will be there all through at all times if you are having such a valuable asset in your custody. I think those were the questions, if I remember correctly, put to me.
Yes, thank you, sir. And I know that we have a lot of questions, but we'll put some email addresses in the comments so that we would respond to as many questions as possible. We'll just take Mr. Alex has had his hand up throughout the entire session. So, Mr. Alex, I have given you speaking rights, so we'll take your question before we take the official closing remarks. So please unmute yourself and ask your question, and then we would take it from there.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir. We can hear you.
It was a very nice and very beautiful presentation. I think it's an opportunity and a good one for the market. And I appreciate the way the panelists were able to actually go through everything. In fact, the issues that I had, I itemized them one by one, and they have all been taken care of. And it's a good one, and we are going to communicate to our investors and ensure that these new opportunities are enjoyed in the market. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So at least I know that I'm doing my job well, and my panelists have done a fantastic job. So thank you very much. I won't want us to go without hearing that last word from each panelist. Very short, 30 seconds, because this is something that is a game changer, whether we like it or not. So I think we'll go in the order of, we'll start with Mr. Lloyd. Then we would have Kian Smith, then we would have Mr. Patrick, and we will wrap up with the exchange. So just that one word that you have for the market, for investors, for everybody listening to you now and that will hear about this session after. So we'll take you, Mr. Lloyd.
Thank you very much, Madam Nkechi. Just want to say that it's early days. However, the parties have considered the various aspects and the risks involved. We've looked at trusted arbiter, we've looked at the introducing broker on the market. Kian Smith has done a phenomenal job in pursuing this. It's now time for all of us to execute and begin to propagate this. This is an opportunity for us as Nigeria to embrace commodities at this level and to ensure that we grow this space. I believe that other products will develop and there will be other auxiliary services subsequently, and then we should all work together to make this thrive. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So our issuer and our golden lady, the floor is yours.
I think my one word or few words would be buy now. I tell everyone it's not because I'm trying to sell gold. I really believe that people should look and understand what's happening. In 30 days alone, gold has gained 6.97%. If last year it gained 65%, anyone who knows math and statistics and probability, look at the curve. And then again, people want to ask, well, why is gold getting so expensive? It's not that gold is getting expensive. What a kilogram of gold could buy 1,000 years ago, could buy 100 years ago, it can still buy. So the issue is not gold. The issue is something more fundamental. So I say all that to people who sometimes say, let me wait a little more. Let me wait a little more. Maybe it will come down. By now, it's not too late. The way the curve is going, again, you will gain. I don't want to speculate, but like I say, look at the fundamentals. So the one word I have to say is buy now, buy gold. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Buy now, buy gold. And from all those of us in the capital market, invest now. So that's our our language and the commodities exchange. Mr. Patrick, I realize that you are actually taking the closing remarks. So I would leave you for last. And I also like to say that we may have investors here. So in your closing remarks, please talk about how they can get started. I know that we didn't cover that in our questions. I know that we have the brokerage community here. They're already dusting up their KYC forms ready for new clients, and clients probably are not sure where to go. So please have that in your closing remarks. So I will take you as the last word for the day. But MD, over to you. So your exchange, your platform, what are you saying to asset managers, fund managers, your colleagues in the capital market? What is that your final word?
I think that we know what a balanced portfolio is always all about, and we know about assets allocation, and we know that also that for whatever you're doing with your assets and your portfolio, you should also be defensive about it. You should defend it from inflation there, and you should also defend it from price fluctuation and valuation of any currency in any environment that you are. So if you're doing this and you're managing portfolios for people in short term, medium term, and long term, I think the first call is to be able to make sure that you have a defensive position that gives them a balanced position for whatever valuation you're going to have now and later days. When we did presentations to PENCOM in the time past, we explained it clearly to them that the valuation of the assets under management now from a 20 trillion to 30 trillion now, if you compare it when the valuation of assets under management was 8 to 10 trillion about 10, 15 years ago, it had better value than now. Because by the time you calculate the AUM, the 30 trillion now, you divide it by $1,500, you will discover that then it was better. So please, let's embrace this gold. It is real. And about lastly, you didn't ask me, I would lastly like to say this. We need to give a lot of credence to the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, for midwifing this, for vetting these documents, and from looking at it with a toothpick. And finally, to also say a very, very big recommendation to the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Dr. Emotimi Agama. Because apart from being a DG, he's one of the few people that started the commodities ecosystem and has been pushing that space. And he also believes very strongly that the commodities market should be playing a very, very critical role in the capital markets, capital formation, and stability in the ecosystem. And that's why he mentioned that one of the things that we're looking at in 2026 is if we're going to be moving towards the 200 trillion market cap, the commodities ecosystem should be able to play a major role. And in reality, it can, because the other asset classes, some of them are maxed out, and some of them are added. Well, this time at PenUp and PenCom has said that you can use 5% of your assets to invest in the commodities, gold, backed instruments, and all that. It's an open space. It means effectively now there is a large amount of money in that particular ecosystem that can plow quickly into gold space. And for people that are going to be brokers, you should realize that what you should be doing is to be speaking to the PFAs to say that, look, buy this, and you're going to be having a lot of transactions to do. For the asset managers, they'll be able to diversify their portfolio a little bit and then look at, okay, yeah, we have a very, very volatile equity portfolios and fixed income portfolio, which is stable. Let us have some gold assets to defend whatever portfolio that they have and defend the currency valuation. Defend the currency, that's the currency valuation of it, and at the same time, create a hedging instrument for inflation in their portfolio. I think those are my recommendations for professionals that understand what I've just said. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, MD. And before I yield the floor for the closing remarks, I know that the moment we hear the closing remarks, some of us already be logging off. So I will just hold us a bit hostage for the next 30 seconds. And just to thank all my panelists for being here, for taking our time. These are very, very, very busy people, all MDs of their different companies. Even it was a bit of a hassle to even get a date because one is traveling here, flying here, but they found time to be together to be at this session. So I'll just do a quick check in the comments to see if this session was helpful, if we were able to get some good information from this session, and if we're able to take it back to our various offices. But in the meantime, I'm saying thank you very much, Neri. I know that we've been on calls every single day, trying to get this listing to the finish line, and we are almost there. Thank you very much, Lloyd, Bankers Warehouse. We see you, and thank you for bringing your expertise in your own space into this new growing green field. Mr. Patrick WCM, thank you for being at the forefront of this. You and your team have been fantastic in driving this to the finish line. And I will not be able to end this without thanking my own MD and CEO for all his wisdom and all his guidance and throughout this entire process, especially with engaging with all the relevant regulatory entities. So I'm seeing some feedback that it was not just helpful, it was an insightful session. And thank you very much. This session, once again, was put together by the WCM Capital Limited and the Kian Smith Company FZE in partnership with Lagos Commodities and Futures Exchange. And we are saying that we know there are many more questions. We have email addresses there. We would contact any panelist you have a question for and respond to you within 24 to 48 hours. Please see the email addresses in the comments, and the floor and the opportunities for new dealing member firms to come on board and participate, and new commodity brokers to come on board and participate. There's an induction ceremony coming up in May, so this is the time for you to get on board, register, and be ready for the next induction session. The registration team will drop their details in the comments. I'd like to say thank you for being with us over the past 2 hours. My name has been Nkechi Obi Chidi, the head of operations, Lagos Commodities and Futures Exchange. And I will now yield the floor to the closing remarks. Please pay close attention to what he has to say because he still has a lot of information to add to the conversation. And we're sure that the information document will go public very soon, but I'm sure he will add a bit more information to that. So, Mr. Patrick, thank you very much as well. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Nkechi. And let me also thank all our participants for today. It's a new field and a new dawn for the investment community. Nkechi has done quite a bit of my work for me. So I would just say that what we need to do is that we should ensure for investors they need to open an LCFE CSCS account in order to be able to trade. The dimensions and the opportunities are not limited to what we've discussed today. In fact, several layers of opportunities are going to come up as soon as we start trading this asset in the market. I'm already looking at instances where you could even have it as a collateral to be able to raise additional cash to do other things. And God knows, several other dimensions to which we could put acquiring these assets into, aside from the major part, which is the store value. And in an economic environment where there is a bit of uncertainty and what have you, is definitely a major diversification play for all portfolios. So I will just thank everyone again for participating, and to say that if you have additional questions, please pass it through the email addresses that the LCFE has provided this evening. And of course, you can also contact us directly if you have specific questions that I think we could help you with. We are, even though we're handling the supply side, we're also happy to help open accounts for those who wants to buy and take them through the whole process and help them with the acquisition of this asset as well. So I thank everyone. We've taken quite a lot of your time already. And I would just like to thank you for participating and keep the questions and the feedback coming so that we can even improve on what we have currently. Thank you very much.
Very much, and we are saying thank you to all our participants. We are looking forward to the listing, and it's coming very, very soon. So we expect to get questions. We expect to get meetings on how you can participate. The banking sector, fund managers, asset managers. Please, there's an email address in the comments. Just email us right away, and then we'll be able to discuss further. If you need to have more conversations with the listing broker, Mr. Patrick and his team, will be able to set that up as well. If you want to have conversations with the exchange as well, we'll be more than happy to have those questions and those sessions with you. So let's have a wonderful day. This session is being recorded. We will send them to all the participants that join the session. So be sure to check your emails to look out for them as well. And it will also be up on our YouTube page. That's Lagos Commodities and Futures Exchange. But in the meantime, please have a wonderful rest of your day. And for those who are on the road, have safe journeys back home. We'll be looking forward to seeing you at our very next session. Like I said again, my name is Nkechi Obi Chidi. Thank you once again for joining us. Have a lovely evening.